Meeting's called to order. We'll now have the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation given by Ms. Daly and the Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Jones.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for watching over us and taking care of us, Lord. We ask you to be with us as we continue our year, and Lord, we just pray for a safe year, and Lord, we ask you to help us be able to make the right decision for the best of all the students and all the people that's involved in our education. These things we ask in my name. Amen.
Abstain. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note that Ms. Billy Daly, Mr. Mike McMillan, Mr. Morris Moody, Ms. Elaine Jones, and myself are all present. Approval of agenda. The superintendent recommends approval of the meeting agenda.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approval of the minutes. The superintendent recommends the approval of the minutes from September 13th, 2022 board meeting.
Make it motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Financial report and bank reconciliations. You all have received the financials and bank reconciliation for August 2022. Request to approve bills for September 2022.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Action consent. Request to approve the continuous improvement plans for each school received at the September 13th, 2022 board meeting.
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Request to approve payment to Reliable Sign Services Incorporated for a digital message center sign, Woodstock Elementary School, in the amount of $35,780 as a public works project.
I'll make it motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Receive nominations for a delegate and alternate delegate to serve as representatives for Bibb County as the delegate selection for Bibb County at the AASB Delegate Assembly, December 1st, 2022.
I nominate Camille Gibson.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And then also
I nominate Ms. Jones for the alternate.
I'll second that.
discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
You took care of D there.
Yep.
Thanks.
Receive approval of policies. The superintendent recommends the following policies be received, approved. Request to approve the proposed amendment to the 2022-2023 maintenance worker salary schedule.
Make a motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approval of surplus. Request to approve items as surplus for Randolph Elementary, West Blockton Elementary, and Bibb County High School.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. It's just desk, chairs.
You've had a list.
Yes.
We're not
Okay.
gonna read out all of them.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that nobody had any other questions. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Request to approve Green Tech Energy Services to replace current lighting with LED lighting in all schools funded through ESSER 3.
Make a motion.
The second.
Okay, discussion?
Ms. Gibson, we have with us tonight, Mr. Bill Morrow with Green Tech Services, also our CSFO, Craig Hodge, is here. If you have any questions, I'm sure, Mr. Moore or Mr. Hodge can answer any of those for you at this time.
Well, would you like to, tell us more about this?
Right now, what we're asking you to do doesn't obligate you to anything. There is a process. State of Alabama has legislation called the Alabama Guaranteed Energy Savings Act. And that's a procurement method that school systems, K-12 school systems, can use to procure energy efficiency projects. And we're talking about lighting, converting your schools to LED lighting. And right now, what we do, part of that process is up front, there's something called an investment grade audit. And that's all we're asking you to approve tonight, is for us to come out. It doesn't obligate you financially at all. I've got the audit agreement with me. I've already submitted it to Mr. Hodge and Mr. McGee for their review. It shows that we're going to charge you $0 to do the audit. We've actually done probably 95% of the work already anyway at no charge to the school system. And what this process is you approve us, you choose us to move forward with this audit. And through this audit, we develop the energy service agreement, which is the contract. So we're going to work with your team, and we've been working with your team to develop the scope of work and come up with an exact scope of work, an exact cost for the project, and also a calculation of what the financial payback would be. And again, it lines up with the state of Alabama. Therefore, you're not obligated to the low bid procurement process, which so that's all we're looking for tonight. What you're agreeing to tonight doesn't obligate you to spend one dime with us. It's just, it obligates you to cooperate with us to continue the study to develop the contract. When we put the contract in front of you, if you don't agree to it, then we just go home.
Okay.
Could you explain what the scope of work that we're kind of looking at, just to...
Right now, at all of your schools, and we've been in all of your schools, and let's see, I'll give you a number here if I can dig it out. We've already been in all of your schools and audited. We've been to 8 campuses. There was one campus, I don't recall which one you
West Blockton High School.
West Blockton, you said to ignore, so we've been to all the other campuses. We've audited 5,710 light fixtures. These are fixtures. Which comes to more than 20,000 light bulbs, and that's because a lot of fixtures you have more than one bulb in a fixture. So we've already done that, and what we're proposing to do is take out the old fluorescent lights that you have and reinstall or come back with LED lighting. LED lighting is much more energy efficient, therefore the whole idea of this project is that the savings generated from this project will pay for the project. Over an agreed upon amount of time. And again, that's what we're trying to develop right now, is that contract that shows you that the project will be budget neutral. So we would go back to all of your schools. There's 2 options we've offered. One is they're called tube LED lights, and all of you are probably familiar with what a fluorescent light bulb looks like. With a tube LED light bulb looks very similar, only it's much more energy efficient. It doesn't give off heat. They got 5 to 10 year warranties, so you're not going to be replacing them at your cost over the next 5 to 10 years. And that 5 to 10 years just depends on the piece of equipment, but it's anywhere between 5 and 10 years. And what we're going to replace it with, that's one option, and that would leave everything's going to look very similar. You're going to have the same plastic covering, which is called lenses over them. That's option 1. Option 2. And Mr. Hodge, Mr. McGee asked for this. Option 2 would be to replace all the lights in your school system with LED light fixtures that look like these lights. So it's going to be cleaner, more modern looking than what you have now. So that's what we're proposing to do. Again, we've already looked at everything you have, and we've already presented these gentlemen with a fairly close estimate of what that cost would be. The next step would be to come in, and again, all of this is going to be done at no charge to you. You're not obligated at all until you sign the energy services agreement, which is the contract at the end of this. We're going to come in now and work with Alabama Power to determine how much money you spend on electricity now, and what us changing the light bulbs, what that would look like, not only physically energy savings, but what it would look like financially for financial savings. So that's, again, tonight we're just looking for the approval to move forward with the process. You're not obligating yourself to any financial payback at all right now.
does this include all of the inside and outside of the buildings? Or
Yes,
is it, okay, so this is outside lighting as well?
Outside lighting, we can even, I don't remember if we did it or not, gentlemen, did we do athletic field lighting? I believe you told us not to do athletic field lighting. We can do athletic field lighting. Now, we'll tell you, athletic field lighting doesn't have the payback that indoor lighting has because you just don't use it enough.
Right.
But if it's a matter of quality of lights, we've done some athletic field lighting around the country. And by the way, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a certified energy manager. My company, Green Tech, I don't own the company. The company I work for, Green Tech, has been around since 1994 doing these kind of projects nationwide with K-12 schools, colleges, and universities and other customers. We're very familiar with doing this work.
What systems have you done in the state of Alabama?
State of Alabama, we've only done one school system. We've done Elmore County schools. And the reason is that the company hasn't had a presence here. That's why they hired me, was to create a presence here. I personally have been in this business for about 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've worked on other projects. But the company, we've done business in all 50 states.
And the company's based out of?
New Jersey. You can tell by the way I talk, I'm not from New Jersey.
Ms. Gibson, I did, reach out to Elmore County, talk to their maintenance director and their CSFO, and they are 100% happy with what they have done so far. And are planning, I think they're planning to do some more work with Green Tech. So they have a good recommendation, from them. Just to let you, we did check references on that. We did look at that. And actually, I talked to, another district in the state, who is familiar with their work as well. They haven't done any work for them yet, but they probably will. But I talked to them as well, and they had a good recommendation for them as well. So that's two systems that gave them a good recommendation.
Right now, we're working with the city of Madison, the city, not the school system, the city of Madison. We got all of their facilities. We just signed a contract about to start work with Nashville State Community College. We've got all of their facilities there. So we are, like I said, we're nationwide. It's just in the South. They just haven't had a good presence. They had to find somebody that didn't have a New Jersey accent to come down and work with us out.
Mm-hmm.
Why have you not been to West Blockton High School?
It's already been done.
Oh, so all of it's all complete.
For LED lighting in the school.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
I know you probably can't give us too close to figures, because you don't, I don't know that you know what average monthly cost for lighting now is, but have you got an idea how much savings would have converting to LED?
I do not. That's the next step, is to get your exact financial spend from Alabama Power Company. I can tell you, based on energy, we'd be saving you about 50 to 60% on what you're spending now on the lighting systems, not on all of your electricity, but on what you're spending on lighting. We're going to cut it by, I'll be conservative and say, 45 to 50% is actually.
Right. Yeah, I knew there's other things run off of electricity.
Yes, sir. And that doesn't include, and this is a real thing, as you know, with fluorescent lighting, incandescent lighting, you don't touch a light bulb that's on, right? It'll burn your hands. LED lights, they give off heat, but it's very minimal. You can touch an LED light while it's, energized. So there's also energy savings there here where we live. And by the way, I live in Helena, so I just live an hour up the road from here. So in the air conditioning season, which for you all is, maybe your whole school year, you're going to get savings from your air conditioning system as well, because you're not fighting, like right now, your air conditioner is fighting the heat coming off the lamps. That's going to go away. And when I say we're going to save you 50%, that's not included, but that there will be a real, noticeable savings there as well. We just don't try to calculate that. That's hard to calculate. Of course, you don't want to overpromise. So I'm not going to I'm going to tell you you're going to see savings, but I'm not going to try to guesstimate what those savings will be.
What's the cost? Did we cover the cost?
Now, what will determine the cost is when he finishes doing his audit and we determine exactly what fixtures we want at each location. and then he'll present that to us, and that will be an exact cost, and that'll
Okay.
include installation and maintenance and
Thank
all of that stuff.
Could that, this, for your audit and all, is that something we could expect, in our November meeting, November the 13th or 8th, or whenever our November meeting is, or is it gonna take you longer than 30 days to have that done?
It depends how quick we get the information from Alabama Power. If I had that in my hand here today, I'd tell you absolutely. If I can get that information in the next 2 weeks, as you know, we've already counted the lights.
Right.
Now it's just a matter of going site to site and you telling us, we want the tubes or we want the modern look. So that, it just depends on how quick. And Alabama Power, and I worked for Alabama Power doing this kind of work for Alabama Power for 5 years. If we can get a meter number, or a count number, the meter numbers are easier because it's physical. It's right there. You see where it's hanging. They can spit out an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper for each one of your meters. It gives a 12-month billing information of what we need. We're looking for, I'm not trying to give an engineering lecture, we're looking for kilowatts, kilowatt hours, and the amount of dollars you spent. That's what we're looking for. In Alabama Power, there's somebody should be assigned to Bibb County Schools. You may not know who they are, but that's their internals at K-12 schools all have an account manager. I don't know if you've met him or her yet. If you have, that would be helpful for me to know who they are. But I'm gonna go collect that data for you, get those meter numbers, and get that data from Alabama Power. They can spit it out. If you give them a list of numbers, they can spit it out in one day. I know they can. I used to do it. So to answer your question, I understand that's your goal, and that's what we're working for, is to be able to come back in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whenever the next meeting is. But at the latest, if we couldn't get here for November, I guarantee we'd be here for December.
My question is, this type of lighting, how easy is it to change them out? Would you have to change the switches if you went with the kind that we have in here with the switches in the schools that you're gonna change them? Would it be different? And then how easy would it be for a regular maintenance person to change them out in 5 or 10 years, since you're based out of state?
We are, and just to reiterate, I live, my company headquarters is out of state. I live in Helena, right up the road. I'm based in Alabama, so I'd be your key contact. So you're not gonna be hunting down somebody in New Jersey if you do business with them. You'll be looking for me. I live 56 minutes from here. As far as ease, a maintenance man that knows what he's doing, that has an electrical background, anybody that touches your electrical systems now would have no problem doing it. None, excuse me, none at all. As far as switching goes, we do intend some of the locations to put in occupancy sensors to get even more efficiency from the system. An occupancy sensor is just that. It tells, you've been in places where lights go on and off when you walk in and out of the room. So some of that switching may be different, but every bit of, when we do the work, we're going to do a turnkey project, and whatever needs to be done, we're going to do it. And anything we leave behind, like these more modern switches, I'm sure somebody here, knows what they're doing with those. If you've got people that know what they're doing in this room, they'll know what to do with anything we leave behind. And we use equipment, off-the-shelf equipment. We don't manufacture anything. We're not a distributor. We're not limited to one brand or one technology. That gives us the flexibility to work with you and our end-use customers to come up with the best solution for what you need. So if after 10 years or even in, between year 1 and year 10, if you just want to quickly turn something around instead of calling us for about a warranty for a switch, everything we use is off the shelf. Anybody, electrician or maintenance man that you have now that has an account at wherever, you guys do work with, Granger or any place like that, any electrical supply house, we don't use anything exclusive. You're not locked in to doing business with us.
We gotta make a motion to go, huh?
Any other questions or discussion or?
And I know you're saying you're doing the study, but according to the item on the agenda, it says we're approving you to replace the lighting. And the funding is listed on here from ESSA funds. So are we approving you to do the study, or are we approving you to redo the lighting?
Right now, we're looking to do the study. If you wanna jump ahead and
But I'm just
sign the
saying, according to
contract.
what we have on the agenda, we
Right.
wanna, you know, if you're just doing the study, we want to disapprove you to do the
I tell you,
study.
if you wanna write me a check, I'll take it.
We're trying to get clarification, that's what we're trying to do.
That was my fault on that, it should have been for the study, to approve the study.
So we need to,
Make an amendment.
yeah, on this, because according to this, we are approving you to do the lighting in every facility and the funding
Funded for
sources
rest of
listed
Earth.
on here.
Correct.
So we need to approve the study.
The
and
study,
not
and you're saying that's no cost to us
No cost.
to do the study.
Do the study, yes.
But you've
yes,
already
ma'am.
done what, did you say
We've
95%?
probably done 95% of it. We've already counted all of your lights, but when we do the initial study, and we didn't charge you for that either, when we do I'm gonna call that the preliminary study, we go in to make it quick. We can't stop and discuss every room going down the hall. We did a like for like change out. And so the next part of the study, when I say 95%, we already have your inventory built in. We've got and I've given it to these gentlemen, I can show it to you, what I read, like 20,000 fixtures in a spreadsheet. We've already done that. Now it's just a matter of your team telling us what rooms you want modern lights in and what rooms you just want the old LED, tubes in, so that we can price it up. So I say now, and the other 5% left to do is getting hold of Alabama Power to get that power usage data. And now, what we can do as far as changing your lights using the two different types, I did a project at John Carroll Catholic High School in Birmingham where we did a mixture of lights. We did the more modern looking lights in the common areas in the classrooms and like in coaches' offices. I don't know if there's a coach in here or not, so we're not knocking coaches, but in the coach's office and storerooms, we did the less expensive version, which is just the tubes, because the public and the students, didn't frequent that area. So we can mix and match, and that's what we're looking for. Part of when I say we're 95%, that 5% is for Mr. Hodge and his team, Mr. McGee and his team, your team, whoever wants to tell us what to do, where you want the different technologies, so that we can price it up. But as far as the hard part, the boots on the ground, we've already done that. We've already invested 4 or 5 weeks in that already.
So have you talked with the principals and they know what rooms or what areas they would want the upgrades in? Do you know?
That's that 5% is, when we went into every classroom, and Mr. Hodge has he can show you the spreadsheet. You're gonna need to get your magnifying glass out.
They list every light fixture that we have on that.
We list it by building and by room. So as far as who gets to decide their preference, I'm gonna have to leave that to you all. I can't.
That's one of the areas that we can decide what bulb we want where and all that, and we can control the cost a little bit better on that too. If we find that we think they're going a little too high on that, we go, oh, let's back off and take these lights and make them the cheaper version and that kind of thing. So that's that 5% he's talking about gives us an opportunity to customize and get exactly what we want, and hopefully within our budget that we're looking at.
And then the next time I come, I would bring it's called an energy service agreement, again, the contract that would spell out that scope of work exactly. It would say, Bibb County High School, room 101, and it would list this type of light. And then it may say, Bibb County High School, Coach Smith's office, TLEDs, tube LEDs. It'll have every bit of that. You'll see the complete scope of work. You'll know every room, what to expect. In room 101, you're gonna see this. In the coach's office, you're just gonna see the tubes. And we will replace the lenses, the old lenses. We're not gonna replace them, but with new lenses, but we'll put them back up. It's not just gonna be, bare hanging there.
Let me ask this, what's the difference between one room getting one type of lighting and another room wants another, or needs another? How's that determined?
You're gonna, Bibb County Schools is gonna tell me that.
Well, we choose, like I said, if we want a better look in one room, it's gonna be one of the panels. If in the storage room, you really don't care, you just want lighting in there, you want the cheaper version of it. It's not gonna change.
So there is a difference in aesthetics,
It's a difference in appearance, yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And that costs more probably.
Yeah, a little bit, yes, sir. And you can, you know, you can put the light panels that have like the LED strips in them that are way more expensive.
Yes.
If you want to make it a super modern look, but you're trying to, the goal is to get the right lighting in the room, and to be aesthetically pleasing, but you don't have to be aesthetically pleasing in a store.
I understand that. Who's gonna make that decision?
That, us, we will.
Who is us?
Us, our, Mr. Mims, Mr. McGee, principals, as we're going through, we'll decide, probably more so on the principals, they will get to decide what they want, and then if we go way over, but of course, all of them will want the nice panels and everywhere. So we'll have to look and see what budget and budget constraints we may have and say,
And
okay.
the board will make the final decision.
Yes, sir. When he brings a contract back to you guys for approval, it will be what we want and hope, and what we want is gonna be within budget too, so, and he'll share the whole scope of work,
Okay.
with you guys.
You'll see something like, if you leave that up, that spreadsheet that he showed you, you're gonna see that again, only you're gonna see the final scope of work.
Okay.
Is what you're gonna see, so there will be no guessing, once we leave, again, if it says Bibb County High School, room 101, and it calls out these lights, when, you're gonna know that, when I leave, if you walk in and these aren't the lights there, then you didn't get what you paid for, so you know, we come back and, change it, that's not gonna happen. But you will know ahead of time what to expect, it's not gonna be me and my team just sticking up, you know, whatever came out of the back of the truck.
All right, thank you.
Well, so.
You might have said this, but I'm not sure that I caught it. Why, if you've already done 95% of the study, do you need us to approve you to do the last 5% of the study?
State law. It's there's a process, and that's part of the process, and, what it does, you're not gonna be obligated to any money, but it's some buy-in from you that you're interested. Yeah, so it's just part of it's part of that state law, the Guaranteed Energy Cost Savings Act.
Also, it kinda gives him permission to go to Alabama Power and get that
Yes.
information.
Yes. Because that last 5%, like I said, we came in, did the 95% no charge, we're gonna do the final, 5% for no charge. But this is where we get down, you know, to the exact, where we sharpen our pencil and give you the number. It's gonna cost X amount of dollars, and it's gonna save you Y amount of dollars, therefore you should expect a payback, you know, of X amount of years payback. So we don't have that now because that would slow the process up front. We were just trying to prove the concept. And once we prove the concept, now we're trying to move forward to develop the final scope of work. So when I say we're 95% of the way, the toughest part is definitely over. If somebody had to start over today, they wouldn't be back in here until January, February.
Other questions?
I would say maybe, a motion to amend the agenda item to read, request approve Green Tech Energy Services to conduct the audit to replace current lighting with LED lighting in all schools.
What, the 5% that he's asking to do, because he's already done the 95. So the 5% that.
To complete the rest of the audit?
Well, I guess that's the remaining audit.
It's gonna be the remaining, I personally don't care how you word it, because we've already done the work. We're just gonna have to squeeze out that last money of that 5%.
You understand that?
To conduct the audit for the lighting.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Okay.
We're good with making that
Are
motion
you all?
to amend the agenda to reflect what's actually being done. Okay?
You made a motion.
The way what I would recommend at this point, after hearing the conversation, request to approve Green Tech Energy Services to conduct the audit to replace current lighting with LED lighting in all schools, period. And I would suggest that that be the amended, an amendment to this agenda item.
Okay. Y'all feel good with that?
I can read that again if you'd like me to.
Request to approve Green Tech Energy Services to conduct the audit.
To replace current lighting with LED lighting in all schools, period.
Okay. Okay, I'll read, y'all need me to read it.
Yeah, just read
Re-
it out.
Request to approve Green Tech Energy Services to conduct the audit to replace current lighting with LED lighting in all schools.
I make that motion.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Thank you, Bill.
Approval of contracted services. The superintendent recommends the approval of the following contracted services. Request to approve payment to RTR Pro Entertainment for DJ services for school dance, October 18th, 2022, West Blockton Middle School. Payment of $500 will be made from West Blockton Middle School local school funds.
Make the motion.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Request to approve payment to Ned Underwood to provide police security at sporting events 2022-2023 school year, Bibb County High School. Payment of $22.50 per hour will be made from BCHS local school funds.
I make that motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approval of bids. The superintendent recommends the approval of the following bids. Request to approve bid number 21/22-18 milk supply bid to Forest Wood Farm, Inc. in the amount of $10,645.50.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Request approval of PACA bid number 39-21 to purchase 2 South Bend double stack convection ovens, Bibb County High School and Centerville Middle School for the total of $21,992.60.
Make the motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Approval of trips. The superintendent recommends the approval of the following trips. Request to approve the Bibb County High School Science Department to raise funds for a 1-week trip to Costa Rica, June 2023. The trip will be supervised by Bobby Terry, BCHS science teacher. Participating students, parents, and other chaperones will be responsible for all costs associated with the trip.
I make a motion.
Okay, second.
Discussion.
I have a couple of questions for Mr. Austin, if I may. Okay. Will there be any screening done for the fundraising? And an example would be, would a child be able to do a raffle for a gun or anything like that?
We can't do that.
Okay. Well, that's what I was thinking. You know, a parent may come up and
Right.
say,
No,
well,
ma'am,
we're gonna
we-
raffle, and we're gonna raffle a gun, but in the name of the school, I would have a problem with that.
But we will do fundraising, but it will be approved fundraising. That's the
Approved
reason I
fundraising.
wanted y'all's approval is so, because those fundraising forms come back through and get approved before we can do it.
Okay.
No, ma'am, we won't be raffling any guns.
So they
And
can't
that's-
independently
No, ma'am,
make
you
up
cannot
something.
independent.
Oh, okay, okay,
Okay,
Not in
you'll
Bibb County
approve.
High School name, you cannot independently collect any money.
Okay,
okay.
okay.
And my other question is, if a student starts to fundraise and maybe, raises 500, maybe $1,000, and decides that, well, I can't come up with the rest of the money, I'm gonna back out. If that money has been turned in, what happens to it? And how do you refund it, or is it refunded to the parent of the student?
Great.
I can answer that, if you don't mind. If it's a true fundraiser, they donated or whatever to that trip, it could either be refunded back to the parents, unless they're, they bought a t-shirt or whatever, they got something for the, for the money. And in that case, that would be distributed to the other students that are fundraising. If student A raised X number, actually, technically, all of it would be pulled together for all those students that are fundraising for that trip. It's all pulled together because you technically cannot have a fundraising account for one student anymore. It's for the whole trip. So it would lessen the expense for everybody. In other words, if student A raises $3,000 and student B only raises $500, technically they have $3,500 together, and it would have to be distributed evenly between. That's according to what the AG's opinion is on fundraising as well. You can't have a fundraising account for a particular student.
Would parents know that? Would they be informed of that? Because I can see where you would have a problem.
That could be an issue if they didn't understand. All of our fundraisers are the same way. We've been doing it for a long time like that. I'm not sure if it's on the form or if we actually tell that they know that, but we would need to advertise that up front, that it's for the whole trip. It's not just for a particular student. Particularly if we're doing it in the name of the school.
Mr. Austin.
When we've done fundraising before, it's been like Mr. Hodge explained, we're gonna raise some money to reduce everybody's costs. Eventually, these people that sign up will have a contract with the company, and there's payment plans and different things, for those. But we wanted to be able to fundraise to reduce their total costs down, so they wouldn't have to deal with the company, but for a lesser amount.
So if, you mentioned before in work sessions, you need at least 15 to make it economical. So 15 times 3,000 each is $45,000. If the school fundraising raises $15,000, that's applied equally to all 15 students. They have to come up individually with the other $30,000 they have to come up with. So that's how we make sure that any money that's raised by the school as a function of the school is equally distributed and applied equally for each kid's individual account to Strider.
And we've been doing it that way, and that's not necessarily exactly fair to the student that raises the most money, but that's the only way.
That sells the most Boston Butts. If one kid sells 12 boxes of fruit and the other one sells 2,
right,
it's all still applied equally.
Right.
And that's what you're saying, well, that kid that's sold 12 should get more, but that's not how it works.
We just,
Right.
can't keep up with it.
That's awesome. Out of curiosity, you said you gotta have a minimum of 15.
The projected cost in
Not that way.
15 was right at $3,000 per student. If you have less, it goes up significantly.
So, okay, so there's not a minimum, it's the amount of money you can raise determines how many can go.
Right. I mean,
You could have more.
If 4 or 5 kids wanted to go, it would cost significantly more than if 15 wanted to go. Rooming and
Now,
transportation.
Mr. Terry is the sponsor, presenter, right?
That's correct.
Will there be any other chaperones out?
Yes, sir. We have 2 right now, board employees committed together.
Are they gonna have to pay the company, or are they entitled to? They will?
They will have to, yes. We cannot, we have no funding for them to go.
Now, we're not paying anybody's. I'm not paying a dime.
No, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about, will the company sponsor adult
I
or chaperone?
haven't read the contract on that. Most tour companies do have some discount to the sponsor if you get to a minimum amount, but I don't have that information.
I just assumed
Right.
that at least Mr.
It's always
Carey
been
would
that
get
way in the
those.
past.
You know, that's a natural assumption since he, I just figured that the company would grant him,
Yeah,
Well,
because it's
That's
sponsored.
putting him in the company.
Yeah.
a no expense trip.
That's putting him in
That's
the
the travel. But anyway, thank you, that helps my understanding.
Y'all have any other questions? I say we just note that the fundraising is for the Bibb County High School students only, that it's not for, chaperones or anything, and that is in there, but also, I think that the majority of the people that are going on the trip, we would like for that to be made up of the students, since this is a learning opportunity.
I know in our preliminary inquiries, there were parents that did not want their kids to go without them. I can
Right.
understand that,
Right,
but I'm not planning on adding parents that don't have kids going.
Right, we're not gonna send 4 kids and 12 parents.
That's right.
Mr. Austin, I know when we started this discussion, we were looking at the honors program and trying to, give them something to look forward to. However, we know that we may have to open that up to more students, so what would be the process of determining who would be,
I feel like we ought to start with the older kids and work backwards,
okay,
because others would have opportunities to go in. I think they should have little to no discipline problems, you know what I mean, in school. And, they should, have some affinity for science.
yes,
And I think those would be the bare minimum.
okay,
And as we said before, if we're having, obviously difficulty filling, or even if we're not having a difficulty filling, I would be opposed to opening it up to West Blockton High School if they had kids or teachers that wanted to go.
any other questions or discussion? Nothing. We had tabled this before for, Mr. McGee to have an opportunity to reach out to our, attorney, our board attorney, Mr. Ray Ward. And he did send us, just a note here that, that all of you have received. You all have had that there?
I got one.
Okay. That, that the board or any of its members would not be liable because we're, granting you to be able to fundraise under the name of the school. Any other questions, discussion? So we just need a motion and a second.
I got a motion and a second. We'll do the vote. I got a motion and a second.
Oh, you do, you're discussing, okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Request to approve Woodstock Elementary School's 4th grade class to travel to Sharptooth Creek, Aliceville, Alabama on October 7th, 2022. Students will explore the creek in ankle-deep water.
I make that motion. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Request to approve Woodstock Elementary School's kindergarten class to travel to the Barnyard, Tuscaloosa, Alabama on October 24th, 2022. Students may participate in a boat ride wearing life jackets.
I make that motion. I second it.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Request to approve Woodstock Elementary School's 4th grade class to travel to Montgomery by charter bus on April 21st, 2023. The students will tour the State Capitol Building, Old Town, Alabama, and the Montgomery Zoo Science Department.
I make that motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We'll now go into executive session to discuss personnel, good name and character.
I make that motion.
20 minutes.
Make a motion.
Second.
Discussion? Let's go.
mean, that's all I see. I couldn't get a solar from it to the light.
You can go, no, go ahead, what we're so far along, it's gonna matter.
I need a motion and a second to come out of executive session.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Personnel action, the superintendent recommends the approval of the following personnel actions. Request to rescind approval of Johnny Brown as middle school assistant softball coach and middle school head boys basketball coach, West Lockton Middle School.
Make it motion.
Second motion.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Request to transfer the employment of Kason Kaiser from computer network technician to computer network technician 3, effective October 1st, 2022.
Make that motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Request to approve the employment of Brady Pearson as network technician 1, effective October 24th, 2022.
Make the motion.
Second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Request to approve the employment of Joanne Sanders as CMP worker, Centerville Middle School, effective October 10th, 2022.
Make it motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Request to approve the employment of Willie Ann Hurd as CMP worker, Centerville Middle School, effective October 10th, 2022.
Make a motion.
Second it.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Request to approve the employment of Jordan Tucker as kindergarten auxiliary teacher, Brent Elementary School, effective October 10th, 2022.
Make that motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Request to approve the following for after-school math and reading camps. Cassandra Rutledge, teacher. This is at West Lockton Elementary School. Janice Krim, teacher. Kim Brundage, teacher. Anna McGilvery, teacher.
Make the motion.
Second it.
Well, let me keep going, I got one more. Reading Camp Woodstock Elementary School, Amanda Cromer, camp director, Peggy Bick, teacher, Cheryl Morris, teacher. We got a motion?
Make the motion.
Need a second? Yeah. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Request to approve the following for Cubs Extended Day Program, West Lockton Elementary School, Dawson Harrison, college worker.
I make that motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Request to approve the following for CAS 21st Century Program, Bibb County High School, October 2022 through May 2023. Tutors Brittany Saint, Courtney Underwood, Alan Casper.
Motion. I make.
I second it.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Approval of substitutes. Request to approve the following substitutes. Kyra Martin, classroom substitute. Kylie Kiner, classroom substitute. Shannon Dearman, classroom substitute. Dawson Harrison, classroom substitute.
Make the motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Next board meeting work session, the board work session will be held Thursday, November 3rd, 2022 at 10 a.m. And a board meeting will be held Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Now have superintendent remarks.
Thank you, board members. I guess I've got one high school principal today here. Mr. Austin, today was a E-Day for your 9th and 11th graders, and also assessment or testing for your 10th and 12th graders. How did that go?
It went well.
Okay. We also have coming up Tuesday the 11th. This coming Tuesday is an E-Day district-wide. So all students are out Monday and Tuesday Teachers have a district PD day on Tuesday. All students will have an E-day on Tuesday the 11th. Homecoming at West Blockton High School is October 21st. That will be an E-day for all students in the north end of the county. The West Blockton feeder pattern will have an E-day on the 21st for West Blockton's homecoming day. We have health fairs down in the south end scheduled in October the 18th. Bibb County High School and Centerville Middle School will have health fair on October the 18th. Board members, as always, you're invited to stop by and view the health fairs and see how that goes. Wednesday the 19th, the health fair at Randolph Elementary School and Brent Elementary School on the 19th. That's all I have at this time. Board members, I appreciate your coming in this evening and the board meeting. We're going a little long, so unless there's any other questions or comments, Ms. Gibson, I'll turn it back over to you.
Need a motion in a second, request to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.
Thank you.